He didn't just swing at golf balls, he swung at the rulebook too. There are legends in sports who redefine greatness. And then, there's the guy who lit the whole playbook on fire and asked for more matches. Meet Dave Hill, the man who made the PGA sweat, squirm, and write more fines than scorecards. He wasn't just a talented golfer with 13 PGA Tour wins and a Varden Trophy under his belt. No. He was golf's walking, talking middle finger to authority, a rebel in cleats with a mouth sharper than his 9-iron. This wasn't your average club-swinging, press-smiling, sponsor-friendly golfer. Dave Hill was the kind of player who could shoot a perfect round and still find a way to piss off the entire tour committee before lunch. He didn't just disagree with the rules, he treated them like punchlines in his own personal comedy special. At the 1970 US Open, he called the prestigious Hazeltine course a cow pasture. He said the architect must have had the blueprints upside down. And that wasn't even his most explosive quote. For most pros, a $150 fine is a warning. For Hill, it was a receipt. He once broke so many clubs out of rage they could have opened a scrapyard in his honor. He snapped putters over his knee, signed scorecards with jokes, and once threw his golf ball out of a bunker because as far as he was concerned, the round was already a joke. But here's the kicker. He knew exactly what he was doing. Behind the temper tantrums and one-liners was a calculated, fierce competitor. A man molded by pain, teased for his stutter, shaped by years of being the underdog. His aggression wasn't just impulse, it was armor. And that armor clanked and cracked with every rebellious swing he took. He fought with fellow golfers. He got into fistfights on the driving range. He sued the PGA Tour for millions, slapped them with an antitrust lawsuit, and put the entire establishment on trial. Not just in court, but in front of the whole damn world. Dave Hill didn't play golf to fit in. He played to stand out, even if it meant standing alone. So if you're looking for the tale of a polished, rule-following legend with a clean legacy, keep walking. But if you're ready to meet the man who made golf dangerous, loud, and impossible to ignore, then grab your bag, step on the green, and keep your head down. Because this is the story of the madman of the fairway, the bad boy of birdies, the man who turned golf into a one-man revolution. This is Dave Hill. 1. A talent the PGA couldn't ignore? Before the tantrums, lawsuits, and busted putters, Dave Hill was a prodigy in the rough. Born in Jackson, Michigan in 1937, Hill didn't grow up with silver spoons or country club memberships. He grew up with a stutter, a bad temper, and a chip on his shoulder the size of a sand trap. He was the kind of kid who didn't walk into a room, he stormed into it. Bullied as a child, often ridiculed for his speech, Hill didn't retreat, he retaliated. If life was going to come at him hard, he was going to hit back harder. Sports became his battlefield. In basketball, he fouled out more often than he scored. Not out of clumsiness, out of sheer defiance. He once said, "I had to play mean. Otherwise, I wouldn't survive." That wasn't bravado. That was his survival code. And when he picked up a golf club, that same tenacity followed him to the fairways. Golf traditionally was the game of manners, whispers, and white gloves. But when Dave Hill stepped onto the course, he didn't play like a gentleman. He played like a grenade with a backswing. He turned pro in 1958, and by 1961 he made his mark with his first PGA Tour win at the Tucson Open. It should have been the start of a clean slate, a rise to fame, and a nice check to bring home. But Dave Hill wasn't wired for clean slates. Half his winnings? Gone. Not to taxes, not to bad investments, to fines. For breaking putters, smashing clubs, and making the PGA nervous enough to keep a penalty sheet with his name permanently inked in. That win wasn't just about a trophy, it was a message. I'm not here to play your game, I'm here to wreck it, and win anyway. And he kept winning. He dominated in the late 60s, grabbing titles like the Phoenix Open, the Houston Champions International, and 4 victories in a single year, 1969, his breakout season. But with every win came more chaos. He didn't just talk back, he talked loud, talked smart, and made sure the press had something to print. Dave Hill wasn't a headline. He was the whole damn front page. And the PGA, they couldn't stand him, but they couldn't afford to ignore him either. 2. The sarcasm heard round the world? In the prim and proper world of professional golf, where tradition is treated like gospel and criticism is whispered behind clubhouse doors, Dave Hill detonated a verbal nuke in 1970. The place? The US Open at Hazeltine National Golf Club. The occasion? Just another major... Until Dave Hill opened his mouth. After hacking his way through what many players quietly agreed was a less than stellar course layout, a reporter asked him the standard post-round softball. "So, Dave, What do you think of the course? Without blinking, Hill fired off one of the most brutally sarcastic one-liners in sports history. "I'm still looking for it." Then, just to twist the knife, he added, "All it needs is 80 acres of corn and a few cows." I think the architect must have read the blueprints upside down. Boom. Instant legend. That wasn't just a hot take. It was a flamethrower aimed at the PGA's sacred cows, and it left scorched earth behind. The PGA fined him $150, which might as well have been a speeding ticket to Dave. He probably paid it with a smirk. The money didn't matter. What mattered was that everyone, from casual fans to PGA brass, now knew that Hill didn't just speak his mind. He spray-painted it on a billboard and lit it on fire. The media, they ate it up. Headlines rolled in faster than tee shots. Dave Hill blasts Hazeltine. Corn, cows, and chaos. Golf's angry genius strikes again. From that moment forward, Hill wasn't just a golfer. He was a walking, swinging quote machine, the kind of character the press drooled over and the PGA wished would disappear, or at least stop talking. But Hill had found his sweet spot, being great at golf while being even better at raising hell. From then on, any tournament that had Dave Hill in the lineup knew exactly what was coming. Precision drives, unfiltered commentary, and enough sarcasm to choke a caddy. He'd insult the course, the crowd, the sponsors, hell, even the shape of the tee markers if they looked at him funny. But no matter what came out of his mouth, his game backed it up. He wasn't just some cranky loudmouth, he was a cranky loudmouth with a terrifying short game. Hazeltine may have fined him $150, but what they really did was unleash golf's first true rock star. Armed not with a guitar, but a 7-iron and a silver tongue. 3. Putting with rage and half a putter. At the Frank Sinatra Open Invitational in 1963, Hill had just lost his father and was unraveling mentally. Before a key birdie putt, he made a promise. "If I miss, this putter's history." Missed it. Snap, right over the knee. He finished the hole with a broken putter and walked off suspended for 2 months. But he didn't apologize. He doubled down. Hill wasn't emotional, he was calculated chaos. He said it himself. "If you bug me, I'll insult you and forget about it. Most people are just afraid to say what they really think." The $3 million middle finger. In 1971, the PGA finally had enough. After a string of incidents, including being disqualified when a ball of his got stuck in a palm tree and he didn't mark it, which wasn't even against the rules at the time, Hill snapped again. At the Colonial National Invitational, 16 over par, he played most of the back nine with only a 9-iron out of spite. On the 18th hole, he threw his ball out of a bunker and tapped in. What came next? A fine. $500 for conduct unbecoming. Hill paid the fine, then sued the PGA for $1 million in an antitrust lawsuit. When they responded by placing him on probation, he upped the lawsuit to $3 million. The PGA eventually folded. They settled, lifted the probation, and Dave Hill walked away. Not just a rebel, but a rebel who won. 5. Scorecards, scandals, and shenanigans. Some players signed birdies. Dave Hill signed jokes. At the 1966 Thunderbird Classic, he jokingly told a partner his score was 8 or 108. Then, just for fun, wrote 178 on the scorecard. Since it was higher than his actual score, they had to count it. His official round, 257. That might have ended a lesser man's career. But Hill, he just kept playing and kept pushing buttons. 6. Fistfights and fairways? Hill wasn't just rough with words, he could throw hands too. At the 1991 Transamerica Senior Championship, Hill got into a literal brawl with J.C. Snead on the driving range. After Snead's balls kept rolling too close to his feet, Hill grabbed a club and confronted him. They exchanged punches. Players had to pull them apart. This wasn't a one-time flare-up. Hill had also nearly fought Chichi Rodriguez at the 1970 Kerr Open, first on the course, then in the locker room. Hill didn't care about friendships on tour. He cared about respect, and he earned it, even if he had to beat it into people. 7. Fueling wins with revenge? At the 1974 Houston Open, Hill showed what he could do when fueled by fury. After feeling disrespected by the Houston Golf Association the year prior, Hill returned the next season with one mission: revenge. He tore through the final round with a 65 and won by a stroke. This was Hill's pattern: chaos one moment, brilliance the next. A walking contradiction, a villain with a golden swing. 8. The legacy of a golfing outlaw? Despite all the chaos, the tantrums, and the lawsuits, Dave Hill was damn good. 13 PGA Tour wins, 6 more on the Senior Tour, a Varden Trophy for the lowest scoring average, 3 Ryder Cup appearances, but no major championship, and no softening of his edges. When Hill passed away in 2011 from emphysema at age 74, those who knew him best remembered him not just for the fire, but the passion underneath it. In his hometown of Jackson, he's remembered as a local legend, a man who inspired others to pick up a club not in pursuit of perfection, but in pursuit of truth, however brutal it may be. Dave Hill didn't just play the game, he challenged it, mocked it, bent it until it bent back. He was the guy who looked at golf's sacred traditions, rolled his eyes and said, "Nah, I'll do it my way." And he did, with sarcasm, swagger, and a swing that could make or break a headline. Love him or loathe him, you couldn't ignore him, because in a sport obsessed with whispers, decorum, and pressed slacks, Dave Hill roared through like a rock concert in a library. He made golf interesting, whether you were a diehard fan or just here for the chaos. So the next time you're on the green, tempted to snap your putter in half, question the course design, or tell the rulebook to take a hike, just remember, Dave Hill already did it, and he probably paid the fine so you don't have to. Now it's your turn. What do you think of Dave Hill? Was he a much-needed rebel in a stuffy sport, or just a loudmouth who couldn't play by the rules? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your take. If this story made you laugh, shake your head, or rethink the game of golf, give it a like. Share it with your fellow sports junkies. And smash that subscribe button for more untold, unfiltered, and downright unbelievable stories from the wild side of sports. Because golf may have rules, but Dave Hill, he had none.